I feel like this film's trailer did not quite do the film justice. I wasn't expecting a lot at all. I thought it was just going to be some bland period piece. Not to say that all period pieces are bland, but generally you do stumble across some really poor ones every now and then that to me are just really, really bland. But I think what Greta Gerwig has managed to do here is twist this period piece into something much more special, and it didn't quite click with me initially while I was watching the film. I wasn't really sucked in for a little bit, but then suddenly I really, really started to get invested in the characters and invested in the story, and I think it was the way Greta Gerwig directed this film and these characters that really sold it. I think just generally describing the premise of this film would really not do the film justice whatsoever, just like the trailers didn't quite do the film justice. Because I guess you could say that it's about a writer who is attempting to get a book published, but each time she tries, the publisher says to her, no, you need the woman at the end of the story to get married because that's the only way the film will sell. The book will sell. Sorry, the book will sell. But the reason why she doesn't want this book to be published is because she herself is someone that just doesn't want to get married. She doesn't like the idea of marriage. She doesn't like the way women are treated in that time. And that's kind of a generalization of the film. But I feel like that doesn't really quite sell the film at all. To me, the film is so much more than that. Like, it is barely even scratching the surface by just saying those words I just said there, because I just think the dynamics of the family, the way that the film, like, time jumps constantly, sucking you in and out of the story, seeing moments and experiences that Jo March had when she was younger with her family, like all those things just have such a splendid feeling to them. The conversations that the characters have, the inclusion of Timothée Chalamet's character, who is very, very significant to the film and the direction that the film takes on many different occasions, actually. The wonderful bond that the sisters have, the fact that one of the sisters gets sick, and like there's so much to this film, and I just wasn't really quite appreciating it up until about half an hour in, which is really strange. But I think it was Greta Gerwig's choice of like time jumping and stuff like that, and having really fast-paced scenes. Like some scenes would be just like chopped in a sense, where like not much would happen, and then you're moving on to something else really quickly. I just love the way that she did that by the end, because it took a little while to get used to it, but then you suddenly realize that it's just the life passing you by and like everything going at super fast speed. And I think a film like this needs that. I think you would just eventually get a bit bored of the dialogue that, you know, again, a potential issue that a period piece could face. Not always, but I think the upbeat tone that the film had just brought out such a happy feeling in me while I was watching it. And as the film progresses as well, like, it just gets better and better and better. Like, the story somehow improves tenfold by the time you get to like the last 40-ish minutes. Like, that is just amazing film work right at the end for me. Even though it's not like there's anything that completely changes by the end of the film, but somehow it just gets to that point and I'm just like smiling the whole way through. It's just a film I really want to sit through again, because I just know for a fact that I would appreciate so many of the things at the beginning of the film. Now I know these characters and I've become invested in them. I just want to watch it again right now. And keep in mind that as much as I like Greta Gerwig as an actress, I think she's great in Frances Ha. As a director, I wasn't sold on her at first. I am of the opinion that Lady Bird isn't particularly very good. I don't know if many people agree with this, but I personally just couldn't get invested in it at all. I really didn't like many of the characters. I mean, in comparison to this film, where I think Saoirse, I don't know how you say her name, Saoirse Ronan is phenomenal, and Florence Pugh is equally as phenomenal too. I think she's amazing in this. Timothée Chalamet again, as kind of, I guess, toxic at times he can be, he's still great to watch. Toxic doesn't seem to be the right word. I don't know. I think it's a bit of a complex situation that the characters fall into that may paint his character to be, I guess, a lot worse than he actually is. But I think you can sort of sympathize with him a little bit. Unlike in Ladybird, where, for me, I just liked nothing about his character. I liked nothing about Ladybird. Like, she was the most annoying character to me. But in this film, there wasn't really any of that. Everyone was just so great to watch. Laura Dern as the mother, perfect casting. I guess I did have a few minor issues, though, with Emma Watson, because she's kind of just stiff, really. She doesn't add a lot to her character at all. And the scenes where she goes off on her own for a little while, that was the point in the film where I really felt like the film could have just chopped those out. She has this random point where she wants to be called Daisy or whatever, and she's just like trying to figure herself out, and yeah, it's just a bit boring to watch. And as the casting choice as well, I thought it was a bit kind of strange, because all the characters resemble each other in a sense as sisters, especially with their hair color, their facial features. But then you got Emma Watson, who's got hair that's completely different color. Her characteristics aren't really similar to the other girls. It was kind of a bit weird. I feel like she was cast as a directorial choice for Greta Gerwig, because I think Greta Gerwig really likes Emma Watson, so that would make sense. But I personally didn't think she was very strong in the film. Another minor thing I would say about the film is that I did mention earlier in this review that one character gets sick, and that is Beth. But unfortunately, there isn't a lot of character development for her as much as there is as, Joe and Florence Pugh. I keep forgetting her character's name. Those two characters are fully fleshed out. You get a great deal of exposure to them. You suddenly grow to really like them as well. Whereas with Beth, she's just kind of in the background a little bit. Even though you do like her character because she has some great scenes. And even, Emma Watson has one great scene where she tells Joe that, just because we're sisters, we are allowed to have different dreams. And that was an important point in the film. But, again, like, it was just a short point in the film where I feel like her character could have been fleshed out a little bit more. But aside from that, like, there wasn't really much bad to say. There was so much to love about this film. Like, it really was just a joyous experience. It was, like, the perfect, I guess, like, come down film, like, after Christmas or whatever, like, everyone's kind of like, oh, a bit sad or whatever. But then this is just like, you're on the come down, but then this film just completely uplifts you. So yeah, if I wasn't completely sold on Greta before, I certainly am now. And this is a really interesting adaptation of the story. I don't know a great deal of the story, to be honest, but from what I've heard, the way that Greta sort of switches it up, and again, turns it into a great film is the most important part of that anyway. I like this a lot. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I think this is a great film, and I just want to watch it again because I think it's just going to get better on repeated viewings, honestly. And yeah, I love the growth that you see Jo March have from the start of the film. By the end of the film, she changes, and she changes for the better too. She realizes that she can be a woman. I mean, obviously, that's okay, but like in those times, she can be a woman and also conform to societal norms, but also be herself too. And I think that was a really nice message, I think. So yeah, great film, one of the better films for 2019 for me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you didn't, let me know. If you did, also let me know. Just comment, that'd be great. Thank you for watching my review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you have a good day, and goodbye.